Good morning, students. Today, let us see the first chapter of 12th standard, that is Principles of Management. We have seen management in 11th standard. We have seen that the management exists everywhere. Let us see what is it exactly. We'll see the introduction part. See, the concept is clear, like what is management. It is being seen in each and every organization because the management is practiced everywhere. Whichever type of organization it is, it might be small or large business organizations, or it might be non-business organizations. You will see that the management exists over there. However, you may see that the management cannot be practiced unsystematically. That means the approach towards the management is systematic. Okay. So, to get the correct results, management is to be done scientifically. Which is being proven scientifically. Therefore, the ways we are going to see in this chapter, that is the principles of management, and we are going to see the principles of scientific management too. We'll see it in detail. I'll tell you what is mean by the word principle. It is basically the generalization that is being accepted as the truth and that can be used as the basis of reasoning or conduct. You may say that it is called as principle. Like you may say the principles of management are the statements of fundamental truth. Now this may come, this statement what I told you, like the principles of management are the statements of fundamental truth. It might come for 1 mark in fill in the blanks, that is MCQ in the final exam. These principles, you may say that they provide the guidelines. To whom they provide the guidelines? To the managers. For what they provide the guidelines to the managers? You may say to take the decisions. In short, these principles help the managers to take the managerial decisions, you may say, and these principles also help in understanding the results of the decisions taken by these managers. What decisions, what policies they are going to implement to get the particular task done in future. Okay, so it is going to definitely help in understanding the results, whatever the decisions they are taking, these managers are taking. Fine. So the management principles, you can see that these are the unwritten rules which are being used while practicing the management. Therefore, it becomes essential to study the nature of these principles. Okay, so we will see the nature of principles of management. Before that, what it contains actually, this management is often included as the factor of production. It also harmonizes all the functions of business organizations. For example, I can tell you planning, organizing, staffing, coordinating, controlling. These are all termed as the functions of management. So we will see the nature of principles of management. Let us see the nature of the principles of management. As it is mentioned in the textbook, these principles are formed to guide the influence, the behavior of employees. These principles insist on improving the efficiency of organizational resources. What is meant by efficiency? To use the resources which are being available in your hand effectively to the 100%. Utilization of it, that is called as efficiency. Gaining more output by using minimum resources, that is called as efficiency. These principles also focus on the best coordination between the superior, the subordinates, and all the other members of that organization. So let us see the very first principle, the nature of management principles, that is the universal application. Now, as we have seen last year also, I will definitely insist on, you might be remembering some of you, like the management principles are universally applicable. That means where the management principle is applicable, is it only restricted to one organization? Is it restricted to only one country? Is it restricted to one city, town? No. It is being universally applicable. These principles of the managements can be used. You go to Japan, you go to Australia, you go to US, you go to UK, you are in India, everywhere it is applicable. And it is applicable to all types of organizations, whether the size of organization is small, the size of organization is big, it doesn't matter what kind of organization it is a primary industry, it is a secondary industry, everywhere it is applicable. That is why they say the nature of the management of principle is universal. It can be applied universally. Now, the results may vary depending upon, different organizations. Okay. It also depends upon at what level of management they are being applicable. But still, the nature states that the management principles are universal. Now, let us see the second nature of the principles of management, that is the general guidelines. The management principles provide general guidelines. It talks in general. If you see, in tackling the organizational situations, it is general. It is not like prepared for some specific tasks. Okay, it will be used in any situation, organizational situations wisely, as well as it is in solving the problems. So these principles we are going to see, they are flexible also. That means they are not rigid. We can change it timely. We can change it as per the situation arised. Okay. So the management principles which are being applied depends upon the situation. It also depends upon the size, nature, and what kind of organization it is. Okay. So if you just see in this, the example of, the remuneration, fair remuneration means what? As per the nature, size, and the financial condition of the organization, the fair remuneration will be given to the employee. Let us turn to the third nature of the principles of management, that these principles are being formed by practice and experiments. The management principles are developed gradually with thorough research work. Systematic observations are being done, experiments are being conducted before developing these principles. It is not the guidelines given directly by somebody has thought about it and they have written these principles of management. It is not the thing. It is being researched. Systematic work was there behind it. Some experiments were conducted before developing them. So the results of these experiments, it have been developed as the principles, and after its practice in the organizations, so it is being implemented and then it is being applied universally. Now, another nature of the principles of management, that it is flexible. Now, definitely these management principles are flexible in nature. What it means, they can be changed. Please hear it properly. They can be changed. They can be modified according to the situations. Whatever situation comes in front of you, you may change these guidelines or these principles which are unwritten. The managers can definitely bend these principles to suit the requirement of the situation. Now, the situations in a business organizations keep on changing continuously. No two circumstances are same. I hope you will agree with me, like any two circumstances might be different. So in that case, these principles can be changed. So they are flexible. Then the next nature of the principles of management is behavioral in nature. That means what? See, the management is a group activity. When you are going ahead with management, it contains planning, it contains coordination, it contains controlling. So management definitely aims at achieving certain goals through a group of human beings. There are certain goals, there are certain objectives set up by each and every kind of organization, you may say. So the management principles are designed to influence the human beings. It is related to the human beings. These principles control a group of persons and it directs them to achieve the objectives. So the nature is behavioral in nature. Now you are getting, they are definitely aimed at influencing the human behavior. Now the next one is, it is cause and effect relationship. What is it? I will just tell you. There is one example you may just take into consideration. Like the principles of management are the base for taking any decision. I mean, if you want to take any decision, definitely these principles are going to be guidelines for you. It is going to help you out in any circumstance. These determine the cause or reason for a particular effect. Means what? So the example over here is given, like the payment of good wages and incentives helps in increasing the output of the workers, or it is making effective advertisement increases the sale of a product. Means what? Like a fair remuneration is provided, a good incentive is given for extra work to the workers. Definitely their tendency to work hard, their tendency to give more work, to give more efficiently the work output, that will be seen. And if you see the effective advertisement, the advertisement on the TVs, the advertisements on, I mean, different medias, that effective advertisement will try to increase the sale of your product. So it talks about the nature, that is cause and effect relationship. Let us see the next nature, that is all principles are of equal importance. What it means, like the principles of management are equally important. I mean, the 14 principles which are given by Fayol, we are going to see it, like they are as important as another one. So no one is, I mean, more important. No principle is, I mean, of less importance. All are to be practiced simultaneously to get a perfect result. You cannot apply only one principles of management and you will say that I look forward for a very good result in future. No. No one principle is more important than the other. Definitely you need to, I mean, remember this. The management principles are the principles. It is also called as social sciences. The nature of the principles of management is not absolute, like the pure sciences, like the chemistry, mathematics, you may say. Okay. With some modifications as per the requirement, as the organizations need, it might be applied in a very good condition. Like you can go ahead with achieving your objectives. They are to be, see, they are also, you may say, like relative in nature. These principles of management, these are you can say, like be changed or modified according to the situations we have already seen to achieve the correct and desired results. So all the principles are of equal importance. Each and every principle, whichever is, I mean, we are going to see, definitely they are going to be as important as the other principles, right? Now after this nature of the principles of management, let us turn to the next subtopic, that is significance of principles of management. What is the importance of these principles of management? See, dear students, management principles, let us see significance of principles of management. These management principles are applicable in every business organization and in every situation. We have seen this. These principles are tested and practiced for, I mean, many years in all parts of the world. Therefore, it is definitely important to study its importance, that is the significance, and it can be studied with the help of the points mentioned in your textbook. They are definitely important. Let us see the very first one. It provides the useful insight to the managers. See, the very first importance of these principles of management is they help the manager to understand the organization. The study of these principles definitely helps to improve the understanding of the situations. It helps to understand the problems, because these principles are in the form of predetermined solutions. As given in the significance, they definitely are predetermined, having predetermined solutions for the problems which are going to be recurring. I mean, which problems? The problems which are arising continuously. I mean, in every year, in every month, suppose it is coming, right? They are the guiding manager. So it is definitely important for every manager to know these principles. Okay. Now, further, it helps the manager to find out the solutions to the problems, and it definitely allows them to handle the situations. These principles are an outcome of the experiences of various professionals which are being already, they are using these principles. The use of these principles is going to help the managers about the manner in which it should be acting in different situations. So this type of timely guidance reduces the wastage of resources, and the goals that whatever your organization has set, it can be achieved in an appropriate manner. So the very first importance or significance of principles of management is it provides the useful insight to the managers. The second significance is it is helpful in efficient utilization of resources. Now, what are the resources, my dear one? I think you must be knowing it. The resources like the material, the machines, the money. Of course, we cannot, forget about the human resources, the manpower who are going to utilize this material and machines, okay, in your organizations. So, these principles of management are helpful in efficient utilization of resources. How it is? Actually, the basic function of this management talks about, balancing the resources, putting them to the optimum use, and control on wastage of the resources. What these principles of management they do? They maintain discipline and healthy working environments. The management always uses the techniques and principles for that. It also helps in establishing the cordial relationship. A very nice, good, harmonious relationship you can see between the management and employees, which is essential, and definitely it will lead to increase the efficiency level of the employees, and it will also affect the effective administration. Now, one example they have given, that is use of standard tools and the machinery, which will help in increasing the quality product, the productivity also. What is quality product? The product which sustains in the market, which is being liked by the consumers, which satisfies the consumers' need, okay, and as well as the increase in productivity. Productivity increasement means what? Like it increases number of products to be produced, the output to be produced, as well as in increasing the level of efficiency of human resources. Suppose an average person is able to produce 100 pieces in a shift. So definitely, if these principles are being used as guidelines for the production activity, the human resources might increase their production capacity to 120 to 130. So these principles are definitely helpful in efficient utilization of the different resources. Let me tell you again, the resources are material, machines, manpower, etc. Let us turn to the next significance, that is importance of the principles of management, which is scientific decisions. We have seen it is being already like scientifically proven results are going to lead the principles of management. Okay, what is this? Let us see. A scientific decision means what? Systematically or balanced decision. The decision which is systematically taken, which is being based on science. Principles train the managers to handle the critical situations tactfully. Otherwise, the managers have to work always with trial and error method. So, these principles are based on scientific decisions with the use of various management principles which are being already proven. We have seen this in the previous significances or the nature of principles of management, that it is being scientifically proven statements. So one can get an idea about how to analyze a particular situation and to search the alternative options and the results of it. So the importance is the scientific decisions. The next importance is understanding the social responsibility. The management principles are definitely based on every aspect of the organization. It talks about all the levels, the managerial levels existing in your organization. Whatever your organization is small, so the levels of the management will be, very small, or might be you're going ahead with a big organization. So there might be, different levels are existing in management. These are not developed only from the viewpoint of handling the resources effectively, but they also guide the management in understanding the social responsibility of the organization. One of the important social responsibility, you may say, like providing quality products, providing them at reasonable cost, reasonable price, and avoiding the artificial monopoly in the market, going ahead with fair competition, fair remuneration. So these are all going to be understanding, the things to be understand the social responsibility. See, the management principles will help the managers understand this responsibility. Like a good remuneration can be provided to the staff, so their satisfaction level will be high. So that is one of the importance. Let us see the next importance, like it encourages the research and development. See, today's age is of customer's age. That means we say the customer is our God. Each and every organization insists on, like, we go ahead with manufacturing the products for the sake of customers, for satisfying their needs. These principles we have seen, principles of management, these are dynamic, they are flexible. So over the years they have developed to suit the current need. It enables the managers to bring consistent improvement in them. Management adopts the new trends at working place automatically. The guidelines help management to make the comparison of the used principles with its expected outcome. What it means, I will just explain you. Usually, feedback is taken after the consumer uses the product. So, as per the need of the consumers, we get the feedbacks, we receive the feedbacks, and depending upon those feedbacks, some changes are being needed to be done in your product. So for that, the R&D department is there in each and every organization. R&D department is always trying to find out the new techniques in the field of production, in the field of finance, in the field of the human resources. Okay, so if there is a need of change in the product, so R&D department has to work on it, and definitely then they are going to implement the changes in the product, and the new product will be launched, or the new features added product will be launched, which will definitely going to satisfy the customer's need. So the principles of management encourages the research and development. The next significance is helps to coordinate and control. Like the management principles give the guidelines for better coordination and control. These principles are the guidelines for better coordination. We have seen it is very challenging to create coordination and cooperation among different employees working in different departments. You can just imagine it. Like different departments are there. Coordination is very, very important amongst them. While practicing the management, the managers can make use of these principles definitely in different departments to coordinate the different activities. Manager can also exercise better control over the organizations. Thus, the given target can be achieved very easily. The management principles offer suitable systems while establishing the coordinations. Smooth functioning can be seen. Okay. The last significance, you may say, that is it develops the objective approach. Means what? Let us see. With the help of these various principles of management, one can develop an objective approach. You are going to go to achieve the objective, the goal of your organization. The managers can identify the business opportunities at different level in the different markets, the root causes of whatever the problems are arising in correct manner, and it can provide the appropriate solutions on whatever the situational problems are arising. It also builds the confidence in the minds of the managers. So it develops the objective approach, the thinking approach. Students, now we will go ahead with the theory. the management theory by Henry Fayol. There is always a question about the principles of management by Fayol. So the question in the board final exam may come, explain the 14 principles of Henry Fayol. And it is very important question. It might come for 8 to 10 marks in long answer question. There might be short answer questions also for 5 marks. So it is very, very important. Who was this Henry Fayol? He was actually a French mining engineer. He also worked as the director of mines. After conducting so many experiments in management, he developed these 14 principles of management. These principles, whatever he developed, are explained in the famous book that is written by him only. The name of the book is General and Industrial Administration. So it is mentioned in that, due to his contribution in the development of managerial thoughts, he is also called as the father of modern management. Henry Fayol is called as the father of modern management. This might come the MCQ, like who was dash dash was the father of modern management, or Henry Fayol was dash dash of management. So you have to write accordingly the answer. It may give you the 1 mark. The Fayol suggested 14 principles of management. These statements definitely serve to the management, the managers as a guideline for making the decisions. Okay, one by one we will just see all the 14 principles and we will try to understand them thoroughly. Let us see the very first principle of division of work given by Henry Fayol. What it talks about, according to this principle, the work is divided into different kinds such as technical work, financial work, commercial work, accounting work, managerial work. So the total work should be divided into small subparts. It should be chopped in small subparts. Now, when the divider work should be assigned to different employees, that is those who are having capable of doing a particular task, those who are having the skills, proper skills or interest in that particular work, it should be assigned to them. Means what? See, the work is assigned to the employees as per their qualities, as per the skills they have acquired, as per their capabilities. So they can be given the work of technical work or financial work or like the security operations work. It will help, it is definitely going to help in improving the efficiency and expertise of employees, which is ultimately turns into the expected productivity level or the productivity level. So giving the work to the one who is interested in that particular job is definitely going to help the management to achieve the efficiency or the productivity level. The second one is the principle of authority and the responsibility. The authority is the right to take the decisions. When the work is assigned to a person, he should be given proper authority to carry out that work. Like I can just give you an example. If a manager, he should be given the authority, he has to given authority to make the decisions on his own. If he has to rely on for each and every decision on somebody else, then it is of no use. So the manager should be given authority to take the managerial decisions. Then only I think he can function properly. But however, the authority is always accompanied by the responsibility. It comes in hand with the responsibility also. Means what? When a person is given the authority, he should be held, you can say, responsible for the same task. So it always comes in hand. It always goes in hand, the authority and the responsibility. If the manager is given the authority to complete a particular task in a particular given time, he should be held responsible for that. If he does not do it in time, definitely the management, the organization has to hold the concerned authority that it was your responsibility, the authority was given to you. So managers should have the proper authorities to make the managerial decisions and on his own in respect to the particular goal of the organization. The third one is principle of discipline. According to Fayol, the discipline is the most essential thing in the organization, in any organization, small or big, whatever it may be. The employees must obey and respect the rules that is being governed by the organization. Like they need to come on time. Suppose whatever their shift is being designed, right from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening, they have to follow that timing. The discipline helps to achieve the goals in the organizations. The good discipline is the result of the effective leadership. Also, there must be a clear understanding. See what is mentioned over here. There must be a clear understanding between the management and the workers regarding the organization's rules. The rules should be told to the employees, to the staff members of the employees very clearly by the management. Basic discipline should be observed at each and every level of the management. This is what the Fayol talks about, the principle of discipline. Like all the employees must obey, they must respect the rules that is being governed by the organization, because it is going to give you the result of effective leadership. Fine. We will see the next one, that is principle of unity of command. See, in any organization, every employee should receive orders from one superior, that is from one boss. This principle, the principle of unity of command, helps the managing conflicts and solving the disputes among the people in organization. It will also help the avoiding of confusion, because only one person is giving command. This is applicable from top management to the bottom management. The principle of unity of command tries to avoid the confusion definitely. If any employee receives order from more than one or more than one boss, you can say he will be confused and he will not be able to work with the concentration. So the commands what he is getting from more than one person, it's a wrong approach. For this, the organizational hierarchy should be well defined, and only one boss or one person, one superior will be giving the command or instructions to everyone. Each employee should knows that the immediate superior is who and should be receiving the orders from him or her only. They say that a picture speaks, 1,000 words. If you see, there are two diagrams in this picture. They have shown two different diagrams. One is the left hand side is right approach. You can see a red circle, that is one superior, and it is giving command. He is giving command to three different green circles are shown. The circles are the subordinates, and the green circles are the subordinates, and the red circle is superior. The wrong approach is also shown. Like there are two different superiors shown. The two different superiors are giving commands to all those subordinates, and definitely it is going to create mess. It is going to create confusion in the minds of the employees, like what to follow, which instructions to be followed. So the principle of unity of command is a very important principle given by Henry Fayol. We will go ahead with the principle of unity of direction. It states that there should be one head and one plan. What it states about, like there should be one head and one plan in every organization. Each group in the organization should have the same objective, and the group should be directed by the manager, which is only a single person with a single plan. So this talks about principle of unity of direction. The next principle of Henry Fayol, that is the principles of subordination of individual interest to the organizational interest, or to the principles of subordination of individual interest to the general interest. What it talks about, see, According to this principle, the interest of an individual must be given less importance. Means what you think, what individual employee thinks, that is not to be considered than the interest of the whole organization. So, while taking the decisions in any organization, the manager must always consider, he should always consider the interest of the whole group, whole organization rather than the interest of a single employee. And the work must be done towards achieving the goal, the objective of the organization. Similarly, the employee should also protect the interest of the organization. This is also important. And the employee should consider his interest subordinate, means secondary. The prime objective should be the objective of the organization. I hope you are getting. So, if the organization prospers, automatically the employee will also prosper. Prosper means progress. So, this was the principle of subordination of the individual interest to the organizational interest or to the general interest. The next principle is principle of centralization. This is the 7th principle out of the total 14 principles of Henry Fayol. What it talks about, see, the centralization refers to the concentration of power or the authority. Concentration of power means the power and the authority in one hand only. So, in some organizations, this power is vested in one hand or few hands only. I mean, they are only taking the decisions, they are only making the policies. Okay. This situation occurs in small organizations, but if the size of the organization is large, then what? Then the centralization becomes difficult. I mean, taking the decisions by only one person or only by a few people, it becomes difficult. So, there is a decentralization of power of or the authority which can be done. The power is given to different people. Example, in certain large organizations, like the departmental heads are being appointed or the managers are being appointed for handling different tasks, or the line supervisors are appointed, I mean, to look after the different shifts. According to this principle of centralization, there must be a proper balance between the centralization and decentralization in the organizations. This is to be done according to the size of organization, according to the nature of the activity you are conducting. So, principle of centralization is one of the important principle, you can say, given by Mr. Fayol. The next principle is principle of remuneration. The appropriate remuneration, remuneration that is the wages, the salary given to the staff or to the employees. Okay. So, appropriate remuneration to the staff or employees is the principle to keep them satisfied financially as well as retain them for long span of time with the organization. The fair remuneration affects the productivity, it affects the efficiency level in total. The remuneration should be fixed by taking into consideration what skills they are having, what kind of expertise they are, what knowledge a particular person is having, how much time he is being associated with the organization. So, these all aspects should be taken into consideration. The principle of remuneration talks about it. Like, we have to pay the employees to keep them satisfied. When the employees are paid fair remuneration, they show the greater productivity definitely, and their tendency to give the more output is seen. So, this is one of the important principle of remuneration, that is the principle of remuneration given by Mr. Fayol. The next principle, that is principle of scalar chain. What it means, actually the scalar chain means the hierarchy to be followed of the authority, right from the top level of management to the lower level of management for the purpose of communication, right from top level to the bottom level of the management. See, usually in any organization, the particular system of communication is this, like it goes through a chain. Means what? The manager he will inform about all the decisions to the departmental heads, to the supervising executives or the managers. Then the departmental head will inform it to the supervisors. The supervisors will inform to the foremans, to the shift in charges, and these foremans, they will try to inform to the workers whatever the decisions are being taken. In this, on the other hand, if you consider, the communication can also flow right from worker to the manager in upward direction also. It is known as a scalar chain. I hope you have understood what is meant by scalar chain. Following the hierarchy, the authority from top level to the lower level, and in reverse from the lower level to the higher level. Whatever the communication is being done, that system, it is the scalar chain. However, this type of communication is very time consuming because it takes time. See, the top level manager, the general manager, we say, the CEO of the particular organization, he talks to the particular department head, then the department heads will talk to the supervisor. So till it reaches to the worker, definitely it is taking too much time. Therefore, sometimes the cross communication, that is the communication which is not exactly following the scalar chain, should be also allowed. What it means, this actually reduces the time delay. It avoids the time delay. If there is certain decision to be taken, the communication to be done immediately to the lower level management. So sometimes the gangplank, which is also the cross communication, what we say, it is known as gangplank, should be also allowed. So for direct communication, proper permission of the authorities is also to be necessary. What is it? I will just explain you again. See, in the diagram here, we can see like A is the authority, the top level management authority, who will communicate to the lower management people. Like he may communicate it to the B, to the E, then B may communicate to the C, or in reverse direction, the C might be giving the communication or communicating to B, and then B might be communicating to A. That is scalar chain. Then what is gangplank? Gangplank is any level, that means C, D is communicating to the G. Like what is it? The communication between the D and G, it should flow through proper hierarchy. Then it is called as scalar chain. But when it is emergency, that time D can also communicate to his peer, to his colleague directly, which is called as gangplank. But this gangplank must be allowed only with proper permission of the authorities. Like I can give you example. Suppose there is one emergency message arises from the top level. Let us talk in college, right, from the joint secretary to the HM. Then HM will call to the coordinators. Then the coordinators will hold the meeting of educators, and the communication will be completed. But when it is emergency, it will take time. The time delay will, try to delay the communication between the top level management and the teachers who are there in the lower level management. So sometimes the immediate action will be taken. The authority will be, the HM will be allowing. The teachers also can, talk to other teachers about this particular message, and that message will be reached to everybody at lower level immediately. So that is also called as gangplank, the communication which will be allowed between not following the chain, that will be called gangplank, and it definitely reduces the delays, or when there is emergency situation, this direct communication will be allowed. Students, I think you must have understood the principles of management, whatever I have explained up till now. I think to reduce the boredom, I will just try to stop over here. If there is any query about it, if there is any question arising between the nature of principles of management, what I have taught to you. Just now I have taught to you the significance also of the principles of management. I have also taught you the 9 principles of management, and the remaining one I will be teaching you in the next session. So till then, thank you and have a nice day. Bye.